Identity is adapted, not fixed. It is not static. It is flexible. It evolves. Most people think identity is who I am. It's who I am. That's my identity. I am this, I am that. But identity is really who I became in response to my perception of life. That's identity. Stress, illness, trauma, responsibility for leadership, having to take care of people, places, and things. All those things that were not comfortable, that affected our nervous system. That has shaped our identity. Then our system asks, what version of me is necessary in this moment in order to keep me safe? And that's what the body responds with. It's like pulling up an application on a smartphone to get a task done. That's identity. So identity is contextual, a sorting through rapidly of what it is that I need to do in order to be at my highest, best version of myself, given any given situation and circumstances, which can change rapidly. That's identity. You see, this is how we humans survive. Think about it. Bouncing back and forth, sorting through our memory banks to see what our best option is, given a myriad of situations and circumstances, all flooding our conscious mind, bombarding us with ongoing information. It's kind of like a traffic cop at a 97-way intersection. Think about that for a minute. Let that sink into your body. But this is how we humans have learned how to survive. So our identity isn't who we are or who we think we are. Identity is who we became in order for us to survive. That's identity. Shrinking is a strategy, not self-sabotage. We contract in order to be safe, pull ourselves in, become a smaller version of self, curl up into a little ball, metaphorically or literally, in order to protect ourselves, to circle those wagons, to go into ourselves, the only place where we ultimately can control our experience of life. Playing small often protected us on many levels, energetically, physically, emotionally, sometimes even spiritually. Shrinking in, contracting. Think about that. Let that sink into your body. Does that sound familiar? Visibility can feel expensive. Leadership can feel incredibly vulnerable. Expression can be very risky, so we contract. Let that sink into your body. After trauma or illness, capacity recalibrates. It resettles. We reshuffle the deck in terms of what we're able to put out, what we're able to sustain, what we're able to hold steady in the world, what identity can be present after trauma or illness. Has that happened to you? Think about that. Let that sink into your body. You see, in certain situations and circumstances, playing small, staying behind the scenes, staying low, keeping a low profile can be a healthy thing for us. And that is oftentimes learned at an early age, when that was a requirement to definitely stay safe, to stay above the fray, to stay out of the mess, to stay out of the violence, to stay out of the rage, to stay out of the upset. Oftentimes, very necessary. Did you have that experience? Think about that. Think about how that maybe is regulating your nervous system in similar situations and circumstances now that you witness in your everyday life or every once in a while. That memory, that pattern is still in the nervous system. If you recognize this, ask yourself, what pattern is still in my nervous system? And what is the inner wisdom I can bring out of that memory? What can I do in order to shift that memory? What can I do to transform that memory into a beneficial clue that will help me move forward and be an even better version of myself? That's when you start to master your emotions. You start to master the feelings that you're having. That's when you begin to make friends with feelings. That's when life happens for you, not to you. You get to make decisions based on past experiences, looking at those situations and circumstances as learning modules. It's not that it didn't happen, it's the meaning that we're giving that thing. That's what's most important. That's what's empowering. That is what builds your identity. That builds your self-confidence. That builds your self-esteem. Yes, that's the work of a warrior. Are you a warrior? Think about that. Let that sink into your body. Once upon a time, playing small was a strategy. That's all it was a strategy. But you don't need to do that anymore. The trick is to help your nervous system recognize when you're doing that and then make a shift based on what it is that you desire to experience in life. Adaptation versus the truth of who you are. You see, adaptive behavior can be beneficial, but it's not necessarily the end game that you're looking for. You're looking to become aware of yourself, how you operate and respond in certain situations and circumstances and decide what's most healthy for you, what's most appropriate for you, to let the truth of who you are out, to become an even better version of yourself so that you operate from a true sense of passion and purpose in your life, become more confident, powerful, and poised. Instead of playing small, you stay big, stand big, play big, as yourself, who you are. Be yourself, because everyone else is taken. Stand in the truth of who you are. How does that land in your body? Think about that one. Yes. Yes. Think about that. How would your life be different if you stood in your soul identity, the identity of your soul, as opposed to your survival identity, the identity that was playing small to keep safe? How would your life be different? Think about that. Get a mental picture of what that's like in your mind. Yes. Focalize on that. Envision that. Have that imprinted in your mind. Believing is seeing. When you see it in your mindset and you believe that in your mindset, believing is seeing, you start to create the reality of that which you desire to experience in life. Yes. And you're the only one that can do that for you. Think about that. You don't outgrow a constricted identity by rejecting it. You integrate and heal that constricted identity by recognizing it, by making friends with the feeling, by understanding the message and understanding the source, and understanding that you are a powerful, potent person, and you can do anything that you put your mind to. You've survived a lot. You survived many things. Think about everything that you've survived. As a matter of fact, I challenge you to make a list of all of the things that you've survived in your life, and you'll realize at some level how mighty you are. And there will come a tipping point, I promise you, there will come a tipping point when you'll say, yeah, I'm kind of a badass. I've been through a lot. And when that feeling is resonant in your nervous system, you will be grateful for every single thing that happened to you in your life. Everything. All the pain, all the sorrow, all the suffering, because you wouldn't be who you are without having those experiences. And when that happens in your life, there's a power within that's unleashed, that's potent and mighty, and the truth of who you are. I look forward to seeing you on that day, expressing the truth of who you are. Yes, I do. Self-respect dissolves resistance. Let me say that again. Self-respect dissolves resistance. Respect of self, appreciation of self, gratitude for self, that will resolve resistance. And then you become incredibly powerful. Yes. You've got this. When does protection become limitation? It's when we are aware of what we used to do in order to protect ourselves, and we continue running that pattern because it's easy. When we know that we know that we know that something no longer serves us, but we do it anyway because it's habituated in our nervous system, that's when things become unhealthy. It takes a strong person to step up and say, I'm not going to do this anymore. It takes a strong person to step up and say, I'm going to change this. It takes a strong person to say, I'm going to do this regardless. And it's what we do in the invisible that makes the visible. What we do in the invisible, what we do there makes the visible. That makes sense to you? Think about that one. Let that sink into your body. It's what you're doing when no one's looking, especially when it's difficult. Do you have the courage? Do you have the moxie? Do you have the desire, the vision, the intensity, the character to do those things that are difficult? I bet you do. Otherwise, you would not be watching this video. Let that sink into your body. Think about that. Yes. When the identity changes, the context changes. When the identity changes, our perception of the environment changes. It's not necessarily the environment itself that changes. It's our perception of the environment. Now, we've all been to the movies with a friend, and you might have heard me say this before. But it's seldom that you come out of a movie and the same two people have the same favorite scene. Different people give different meanings to the same thing interpreted. So when identity changes, the meaning that we give something changes. Instead of life happening to us, it happens for us. That's a shift worth making. That's where the gratitude comes in, folks. That's where the power comes in, folks. That's where the potency comes in, folks. That's where the I am a spiritual warrior, I am a spiritual badass, that's where it comes in. And you start thinking, man, I eat those problems for breakfast, man. Ain't no one getting me, man. I got this because I'm powerful, I'm strong. I've made it this far. I've seen everything that I've overcome, and I'm going to keep moving forward because I ain't turning back around. I ain't turning back around. I'm going to move forward. That's the will, the conviction, and the power and the determination of a warrior. Of a warrior, yes. And I bet there's some part of you that's a warrior. You wouldn't have made it this far in the video if there wasn't someone inside of you that says, yes, that's the truth of who I am. Yes, I have the ability to do more. Yes, I have the ability to do powerful things and make a difference in my chosen field of endeavor, whatever that is. James Allen, in his book As a Man Thinketh, said, the greatest achievement was at first and for a time a dream. The oak sleeps in the acorn, the bird wakes in the egg, and in the highest vision of the soul, a waking angel stirs. Dreams are the seedlings of reality. Yes, they are. Yes. Believing is seeing. Believe it. You will see it manifested into the physical. Let that sink into your body. We step into a new identity when we let that old identity collapse. We step into a new identity when we let that old identity collapse. When we surrender the negative payoff of playing small and step into the new identity, that is when significant change happens in our life. And that can be scary. Rene Descartes said, I think, therefore I am. Well, what if the I am that I think I am is maladapted, small, weak, scrawny, in our own esteem, and unlovable? Even trying to let go of that, even attempting to let go of that, is met with tremendous resistance. Think about that. Because if that's who we think we are, we hold on to that value subconsciously to get validation for why we are alive and drawing breath. Yes? Updating the identity, letting that old version go, requires a death of the current self, a surrendering of the current self, a burning off of the current self, a surrender of the current self, to step into the new version. Yes. Your new life is going to cost you your old one. You've heard that before. So identity upgrades, identity updates, they require safety, not force. How do we move forward into a new identity peacefully? Love, compassion, and kindness. We don't tear down the old identity. We thank it, we bless it. We have gratitude for it because it got us to where we are now. We just now realize that there's something different that we've been calling for all this time. That's how we surrender the old identity, with gratitude, and watch it float off into the distance as we step into the new version of ourselves in our mind. Believing is seeing, feeling it in our body. Feelings are the physiology of that which we believe is true moving through the body. By that, if you walk into the kitchen and you smell your favorite food baking in the oven, there's a feeling of yum. This is delicious. But if you walk into that same kitchen and you smell natural gas, whoa, that's a very different feeling. There's a feeling of I'm in danger. Two very different feelings, yum and I'm in danger. Feeling is the physiology of something we believe is true moving through the body. Happens every single time. Think about that one. When we assume the feeling of something wonderful in a new identity and get that into our nervous system through repetition, we start to engender, engage, and express the new truth of us. A mighty powerful being. Let that sink into your body. We don't need to pull off the bandage. We don't need to rip it off. We don't need to be harsh. We need to be gentle. We need to confront that old feeling, that old identity, and understand, what is it that you were trying to tell me for all these years? Let me spend some time and understand what your message was. Every negative emotion has a positive intention. Walk into that kitchen and you smell natural gas. The positive intention of that feeling based on the smell of the natural gas is to move you out of the kitchen to safety. Every negative emotion, every negative feeling has a positive intention. When we have the courage, the strength, and the desire to understand the positive intention, boom, we make positive changes. And that's where the gratitude comes in. And gratitude is presence only after something that is desirable has been experienced. So when we have gratitude for this new identity, it's sending us a signal that, yes, I have experienced, I am this new identity. Have identity, have gratitude for the old, and bring in the new. So let all of this sink into your body. Let all of this sink into your body. And I challenge you to drop in the comments, what is the old identity you are letting go of? What is the new identity you are stepping into? What is the truth about you? What are you most grateful for? Be kind, be well, be a blessing. This is Christian Raphael. If this resonates with you, like and subscribe for more information.